Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Tuck Tule Takes. I am Mike Sullivan. With me, as always, is Liam McDade. Liam, how you doing over there? How's it going?
Oh, I am living. A little bit sunburned, but that's fine. It's going to turn into a crisp bronzing.
Oh, a little bit sunburnt, but my friend, you look very good right now. Very good. Back where it's at. Got the
Sun's
tank
out,
top on
guns out,
because it
baby.
is summer. I was just going to say sun's out, guns out.
Stole
Both
your
Tuck
line.
Tule Take guys have the guns out today. We're going to come out guns firing today. We have a couple guests today. We have Danny Woodhead on the podcast.
Good old Danny Goodhead.
I don't know why. For some reason, I wanted to do that stupid.
You
voice.
honestly, you got a good radio voice there. I was gonna let you go on your spiel and then comment. I dig the radio.
I was gonna laugh too much. I couldn't. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Tuck Tule Takes. This is your preeminent Patriots podcast, brought to you by Couch Guy Sports. As always, Liam McDade here with Mike Sullivan. Liam McDade representing the Northeast. Mike Sullivan representing the asshole of the United States, which is Florida.
DJ Sully at WLWA.
DJ's MC Sully, as he's known on the streets in Orlando. So we are going to have a this episode 41, by the way. I noticed last week was episode 40. I don't think that's like a milestone, but any round number I feel like is
There's no even
good.
Really Patriots players that were number 40 that we could point to and celebrate. So
I don't know.
There is a 41 though. Our boy, the man, the myth, the legend, won us a game.
What's his name? I can't think of his name right now.
Come on.
Shit.
Miles
Bryant. Damn it. In this corner, number 41, hailing out of who the hell knows, number 41, Miles Bryant, everybody, who will most likely not be on the team. But yeah, so we are going to kind of break down like the rookies, because rookies have reported today. As we speak, it is July 19th. Rookies are in Foxborough today. Vets report next week. So that's when everything kind of really starts the off season.
All hell breaks loose.
We have kind of, what we think the ceiling, what we think the floor is for all these guys. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Liam, I don't know if you've paid attention to it, but the Madden ratings for all the players have come out and all that stuff. And every year you get all these players get all up in arms about their Madden ratings and all that stuff. Two-part question here. One, do you give a shit what these people or like? I feel like it's wildly overrated. And I think that a lot of players now care because it is that age where like they're all playing Madden, so they care more. But it always seems to be this thing where it's like, I can't believe I'm not 93. You got me at 85 or whatever it is. It just always seems to be a thing. Do you care? I guess is my question.
I don't know. I mean, I guess like sorta it would be my answer because I peruse YouTube frequently, like most people, and every once in a while there'll be the athlete reaction videos reacting to their Madden ratings, and I'll click on it just to see like mostly what the Madden ratings are because I play what they are and to see their reaction. But in the end, like I don't know, it's just the generation that's in the NFL now. Like if I was in the NFL, I'm 25. If I was this age and I was in the NFL, they came to me and were like, do you want to guess your Madden rating? I'd want to know. I'd play Madden. I'd want to play as myself in Madden. I'm conceited. And I'd probably think I'm like a 99. And then when they tell me I'm a 74, I would be quite disappointed. If I'm not 69 or 99, I'm going to be disappointed. So it's like there's no winning. I'm sure every player feels like there's a stud, that they're a stud. Like they should have the highest rating possible. So no matter what, they're going to be disappointed. But it is fun to see like do you listen to Bussin' with the Boys at all? Like Taylor Lewan's podcast?
Of course I do. Yes, sir.
Did you see last year they dropped his Madden rating? I think this was last year. They dropped his Madden rating on him and he was horrified.
I heard
like 81.
I heard him talking about because he was talking about it on another podcast who he was doing. He was like, then they dropped my Madden rating. I don't know what the hell that's about. He wasn't
even the best offensive lineman on the team. So like stuff like that, it's entertaining, but like I forget about it like the second I click a new video and I already forget about it. So it's marginal amount of entertainment. I'd care if I was in the league, but I don't know. It's
Yeah, people tend to care a lot. But even though we somewhat don't care, I do have the Patriots numbers for you in case you want to know what their receiving core is. So the highest rated one is Devontae Parker. He's 82. Kendrick Bourne, 81. Nelson Aguilar, your boy, 81. Jacoby Myers is 80. I like that. That was kind of surprising. I thought he'd be in the 70s. I like that one. Ty Montgomery is 72. You could have told me he was 61 and I would have been like, okay. Like,
I think
I don't
68 would have been my guess, but yeah, 61. Like I believe it. He doesn't do a whole lot anymore.
I don't know. Tyquan Thornton, 69.
Haha, nice. That's a win.
Nice. He's actually the second fastest rookie too in the draft class. Like I think he's like a 95. Shit. I think. What's his name? Lil something Humphrey. What's his name? Little.
Oh my god.
Shit.
So good too. That's
he is 66. And then Trey Nixon is 64. So Patriots wide receivers kind of where everybody thought they would be.
Yeah, so what's Devontae's again? 83? 82. So you scared me when our leading receiver is 82. I'm like, oh my god. Then I started thinking like Kendrick Bourne's a 78, Jacoby Myers is 76.
Yeah,
they're all in the 80s. So that was honestly as good as it could have went when you're like, he's an 81, he's an 80. All our top receivers are in the 80s. That's fine with me. I was afraid that they were going to dip into the, basically Madden calling them trash, but they're just all like made by fat guys. Yeah. Like the Madden ratings guy is a huge dickhead. He always has been.
It's almost, I feel like he does it. Like he gets off by it. He's like, oh yeah, piss this guy
now
off.
Now that it's a big deal. Yeah. Like back in the day, like when they gave Devin Hester 100 overall speed, like then they were accurate. No. Now I feel like he's just playing around with. He's like, I'm going to make Aaron Donald a 95 because fuck him. And you're like,
why not? Whatever. Right? He missed that one tackle.
Just watch him flip out. Yep, exactly. This dude clearly knows something that we don't to make these Madden ratings.
Stupid. Hunter Henry is 84 too. He's the highest rated Patriots.
You have Jonnu's?
I will in a second. Hold on.
Because I'm curious if they bounced him from the 80s after
in the meantime, I will filibuster. Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode is brought to you by the dark side of the Force, because that is where our head coach Bill Belichick ranks. He comes from that side, Death Star, all that fun stuff. I always thought Sith Lord.
Do you ever hear that conspiracy theory that the Sith are basically the good guys and that the Republic are the bad guys?
So I was actually talking about that. It's one of those things where it's like depending on what side of the story, like what point of view you hear it from, the Sith are kind of the good guys because, like, listen, the Jedi are the ones who keep fucking up their plans. Like the Sith just want, they
just want to do their thing.
The one guy, they want to have, everything
the Republic in order. Kidnap children at a young age and force them to believe this ideology. It's a little cultish. And I was always a Darth Maul and General Grievous were my two favorites growing up. So I always sided with.
I hated General Grievous. I don't know why.
You hated General Grievous?
Oh, he just annoyed the shit out of me.
He's a bad motherfucker.
And then his 16 arms.
I love the way he talked. I love the way he talked. He had that smoker's cough, like he just ripped a couple packs. It's like,
That part was always weird to me. Why did this machine have a smoker's cough? All of a sudden,
he was a big Sigs Inside guy while he was alive. And that is just another reason. As I grew up and matured, I was like, I love Grievous even more. He's big Sigs Inside guy. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, but if I did, I would only rip them inside. So I'm like, I can relate with this guy.
Well, I guess that makes sense. Then I will say the Sith, though, they're the only, because the Jedi don't know how to use the Force. If you watch the Star Wars movies, they use they use it for like stupid shit, like opening doors and stuff. Like I actually just watched all the episode 1 through 9 with the wife the last like few weeks.
She watched them
for the first time. All of them, episode 1, 2. We watched them in release order. The new one's actually my favorite one. The Force Awakens is my favorite Star Wars movie. Love that movie. But we both came to the general agreement that the Jedi don't know how to use the Force. They use it. They are the worst at it. They use it like they could use it to do so many things, and they just don't.
Underwhelming.
They just don't. Speaking of underwhelming,
they're Nikhil Harry of the Force.
I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, maybe they kind of are. John Newsmith, what would you guess he is for
78?
79.
Ooh, I should be the Madden ratings guy. Okay. Yeah. See, I figured they'd bounce him down a little low. He should still be in the 80s though.
Yeah,
they'll see this year. It'll bump into the 80s mid-season, no doubt.
It'll be like 82 or something like that. I think he's labeled as a vertical threat archetype and has a default running style. So I don't know what. I mean, maybe he'll be used as a vertical threat if the Patriots decide to
decide to do so.
with the offense. But yeah, Hunter Henry is 84. He's ninth out of all the tight ends. Whatever, just a talking point there, because I really don't give a shit. It's just funny that everybody, like, you got like Adam Schefter out there tweeting these things, and I'm like,
they really take it's a slow, long, brutal, arduous offseason.
It really is, but we are finally getting back into it. Like I said, the rookies report today. Everyone else, veterans, all them report next week. So I think we should get into it. And Liam, I think the floor will be yours to start. The first rookie we're going with, Cole Strange, number 1 pick out of Chattanooga. Wild pick. Great pick. Everybody loved the pick. I think that's the general thought.
Huge, resounding. There wasn't a person who hated it in the group. University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Yeah, that's a prestigious school.
Prestigious, however you want to say it. So first pick, Cole Strange. Liam, floor, ceiling, what do you got for Mr. Cole Strange?
So my floor for him, and this might be the widest of the bunch, floor out of the league after his contract, like flat out, like he could completely eat shit, just because this is the first time I can think of where people actually paid attention to an offensive lineman being picked. Like people actually cared. Our first pick out of a very, very low ranking, talent pool when it comes to this school. It's like him and Terrell Owens, and that's about it. And it's like, so with him, I think the hype could be real, but between the coaches and the fan base, where they're like, this dude isn't performing in 2 years, he could be out. But his ceiling is fucking Logan Mankins, Matt Light, like the next great Patriots lineman that hangs around for years and years and years. And then Bill eventually trades him to the Buccaneers for a 5th.
Yeah. Belichick trades him to the Bucs in 5 years for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
that's going to be Cole Strange's way.
Yep.
That's his ceiling.
That's a pretty damn good ceiling to me. Like, I think he could be a stud, multiple time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know. Yeah. Pro Bowler, probably, depending on the success of the Patriots.
It's tough. I feel like it's tough to be a Pro Bowler as an offensive lineman, because you you basically have the big names. And if you're not on like a big team that, puts up these crazy passing or even running stats, like it's tough to get there.
Or like Joe Thomas when he was on the Browns, when he was like a 13-time Pro Bowler and the Browns were just dog shit.
Never missed a game.
Best player. Yeah.
He was the only good player on the team.
Only, which is pathetic, but like most important position. So more power to him. But yeah, no, that's my ceiling for him. I truly think he could, and I lean toward him being a stud. Like everything screams this guy's a baller, and Bill knows more than everyone else. So I'm going to trust him. I think this guy's a big baller. He's my next Matt. He is the Matt Light at the end of the tunnel for me.
What a play on words. Holy, did I see what you did there? I love wordplay, entendres, metaphors. That was good. That was
just
good.
Off the cuff, wasn't even in the notes.
I like that. Just freestyling there. That was
free balling
it. So Cole Strange, my floor for him is going to be Trent Brown, but Trent Brown before he comes back from the Raiders. So Trent Brown, where he has a couple good years, gets sent off, and then just kind of floats around over there. Because right now, I think Trent Brown is arguably the most important lineman on the team. I'm not gonna say best, but just the most important. So yeah, I think, but he'll be one of those players that kind of produces like not really, but does. You don't hear about him. When you do, it's bad. Then he gets shipped off to another team on a big contract, because he has like, a good end of his, last season here, gets shipped off, gets a big contract, never comes back.
Sell high.
Yeah. And then is kind of just floating around as like you know what? His floor is a poor man's Ted Karras. That's what I think.
Yeah, so but like a journeyman lineman who like was serviceable for us.
Yeah, just not quite as good. Someone that like no one will ever think. It'll be like, who's the first round pick that played 2 seasons, ranked top 5 in Pro Football Focus, but then was traded from the team 3 years later. That's it. That's his floor. Ceiling, I think David Andrews, just different position. I think that he will be not
High
only
praise, not as high praise, but like still high praise.
No. I because I put Matt Light up on a different. He's like one of your top 10 Patriots.
Yep.
But yeah, I think David Andrews in the sense that not only is he just really, really fucking good, but he's a New England favorite. You can't find a person in New England that doesn't like David Andrews. Listening to Cole Strange's quotes after the game or after he got drafted, where he was like, he likes to play that mean, gritty type of football. I think that if you can be anywhere, one of the top places to have that way of playing is New England. Because you'll come here and people will just love that. So
I think run the shit out of the ball. It really does embody the Boston style too, where it's like grit and grind.
Yep. Exactly. That whole like Edelman type of, like gritty, just
we want you
just
to
get
try.
up, rub some dirt in it and just keep going. So yeah, I think Cole, but I'm leaning towards he'll pan out towards his ceiling. He'll be a fan favorite. He'll be very, very good. But the caveat too, people will always say, he was not worth the first round pick, no matter how good he is. That's what I was thinking. He could be a Hall of Famer and people will still say, but they could have got person X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Guarantee you that will happen, no matter
especially
what
if this draft class ends up being sick, if like one of the receivers one of the corners above him was taking any of them. A skilled position in front of him ends up being a Pro Bowl or a Hall of Famer or a big baller. They're like, God damn it.
Yeah. So I think that's what I think for Cole Strange. So we're both kind of on. I think this even happened when he was drafted too. Regardless of how we felt about where he was drafted, we both were relatively high on Cole Strange.
Yeah.
Just kind of seeing, how he played, the talk about him and everything. So
despite the first round pick, there's no real faults with the guy. He seems like a big baller.
Nothing bad about him. So moving on to the second round pick, I'll start this one. Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver out of Baylor. Floor. His floor, I think he gets cut after the season. I think he plays. I don't know, half, like he's a healthy scratch for half the season. He has one nice catch in a game that means nothing or a game that's out of reach. And people are like, oh, look how fast he is. Why doesn't Belichick use him more? Blah, blah, blah. And then he gets cut in the offseason. And then people say, once again, Belichick can't draft receivers. Ceiling, Deshaun Jackson. This was a very easy one for me. I think, and I'm talking exactly other than the journeyman aspect of Deshaun Jackson's career. And I know you would like this because I know you get, a little chub for Deshaun Jackson. I think everything from the speed to the look of how he runs too. He has that like aggressive type running. I mean, he does have small wrists. I guess that's something you got to look forward to, or you got to pay attention to. But yeah, I think floor for him, he gets cut next off season. Ceiling, which I hope law of averages, Belichick has to hit on a receiver at some point. I'm hoping this is the guy. This is the big deep threat, Tyquan Thornton, aka Deshaun Jackson.
That's so funny because I wrote down Deshaun Jackson too, and then in my notes, and then deleted it, and then put in Brandon Cooks as his ceiling, where he's like a speedster kind of.
I wouldn't hate
Brandon
that.
Cooks is too good, but Brandon Cooks is almost too good. Like I think he could be. Is really fucking good. Perfect. But like he could be like a consistent receiver for years and years for a bunch of different teams, like hovering in like the 800 yards range. That was my ceiling for him. Deshaun Jackson, it's like I wrote it down, but he's basically God. Like he can walk on water, so I didn't want to give him that high praise.
But he is kind of another reason I picked him though. He doesn't get talked about a lot because he is kind of a boom or bust type of guy.
Yes.
Like, I mean, maybe not his early years when he was really all the Eagles had, all that stuff, just kind of everything else. It's really like,
but yeah,
he's deep threat. He's there. He's always a weapon, but there are some games where it's just like, did Deshaun Jackson suit up? Like what's going on? Maybe injuries hit him. Cause he is kind of a skinny type guy.
Was injured all the time.
So that's one of the reasons I kind of stuck with him. Cause I was looking for fast receivers. I was thinking Percy Harvin, things like that. But I think Deshaun Jackson, everything from injuries to just the speed to the types of plays that he has, I think that's what he's going to be. So just had to explain my point a little bit further.
Yep.
Proceed.
No, totally. I'm basically in the same realm. My floor for him is a little higher than yours, where it's He hangs around. We hung on to N'Keal Harry for this many years. I would have cut him after the first year. I don't care about his upside. He was so bad.
So bad.
With this guy, if they hung around with N'Keal for so long, I think we keep this dude at like 3 years or so at minimum. But he's like again, like a Deshaun Jackson, like we use him in space, end arounds. We send him in motion on a jet on the other side of the field, and there's a flood concept to the left side, and we swing him on a wheel route the other side and just kind of take advantage of his speed, get him in space, use him in screens and whatnot. So that was my thing for him. His floor, it's like he'll come in for he'll have like 5 big plays throughout the season, like two 60+ yard touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah, I
And
see that.
it'll be like exactly what you said, like why don't they use him more? And then it'll be like because they can't really use him all that much. The only reason he scored on those couple plays is because he's so fast and the defense was caught off guard because he's not in all the time. When he gets in, the defense isn't really paying attention to him, takes the top off the defense. So at minimum for me, he's a sporadic big play guy that hangs around for a couple years, and we look back on him even more years from now and go, why didn't we use him all that much? Well, he just didn't have the talent. But when he had those big plays, they were memorable. We'll look fondly on him despite how not great he was. But then again, my ceiling for him, little less than Brandon Cooks, significantly less than Deshaun Jackson, but a speedster wide receiver that hangs around for hopefully a long fucking time and ends up producing big time.
Why do you think that tends to happen more? Or it seems like it does with the Patriots, where players will almost get like an unfair amount of like benefit of the doubt, or it's like, why don't you use this person more? Or why don't you plug this person in more? Or, like you'll have a player flash once or something, and it's like, why don't you see more of this person in there? And then more often than not, that when that player does get a healthy amount of playing time, the very next week, those same people are like, sit them down, put someone else in, blah, blah, blah. It's like, for some reason, people still, and I'm not saying you have to blindly trust the man, but people still second guess every single decision Belichick makes. And I don't get it. It's almost like fatigue within his own fan base or media. I don't understand that.
I think people are prisoners of moments, and it'll be moments that you remember. I'll use this example, Kenbrell Tompkins. Everyone
loved Kenbrell.
Exactly. Everyone that I talk to looks fondly on Kenbrell Tompkins.
Oh, that catch against the Saints.
It was unbelievable. And that's the moment. Everyone will remember that game-winning touchdown catch when Brady was throwing to Austin Collie, Aaron Dobson, him and Edelman. It's like the receiving core was shit.
I was at that game.
I'm so jealous. I will forever be jealous. That's fucking phenomenal. What a game to go to. But people will look back on that and be like, man, what happened to him? Why didn't he get more of an opportunity? Why did we cut him? And why did he go to the Raiders and not do anything? Well, he just wasn't that good. He was produced for us because we had nothing. And he had a great play. He took advantage of that moment, made the best of it. But when we got talent, he couldn't separate himself from the talent. We cut him. He went to the Raiders, and he didn't do anything with the Raiders. He just wasn't that good. But people will remember that game-winning touchdown catch and go, man, he was sick. No, he wasn't sick. He was just pretty good.
Yeah, I think even like people had that thought. I don't remember what team he went to, but Jabbar Gaffney was another one. It was like, when the Patriots got rid of him, it was, I think, that's the thing. Everybody likes him, but it's like we get too attached to them. And all of a sudden you said like more recently, Logan Ryan, it was like, oh, the Patriots secondary is going to be broken. I can't believe they got rid of Logan Ryan. That same year he went to the Giants, people were like, you got to sit Logan Ryan. He's a liability. Or maybe it was the next year because he was still good. But it's like, it's just.
And now he's on the Bucs, and it's like, it's not a big signing. Like, he's not going to helm that defense.
No, it's very strange. I don't know why. It made me think of that when you said that, like he'll get shipped off and he might do something else over there. But
at least the Patriots are predictable that way. That we know most of these guys are going to get shipped off at some point. It's a guarantee.
Probably for some big contracts too.
Yeah.
Next one, round 3, pick 85, Marcus Jones, cornerback out of Houston. Sir, this is all you.
This was a tough one for me. Like, to really pick between a floor and a ceiling here. My ceiling, and this is extremely bold. This is max potential. Everything he maxes out. Patrick Peterson, returns punts, walks it down. I think Patrick Peterson was a 5-time Pro Bowler. I'll give him the nod and say at least 3 Pro Bowls or something like that. I'm talking if everything, the heavens align, the planets align, shine a light on this guy, he balls out. I think he's a Patrick Peterson type where he gets a couple big play returns, big play kicks, and the whole thing. Like, we look back very fondly on him, and a couple years ago, that was one of the great Patriots corners for us. That's my ceiling for him. And my floor for him is just, do you remember Cyrus Jones?
Yes, I remember Cyrus Jones.
That's my floor for him. Fucking Cyrus Jones.
That's a better floor than me. That's actually no, it's not. My floor is
I don't know
better, but still.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a there is a worse floor than Cyrus Jones. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like somebody who's supposed to be sick and had all the potential and the athleticism, ball skills, Jones went to Alabama, so it wasn't as good of a Marcus Jones doesn't come from as good of a school, but I don't know. That was the name that stuck out to me. I'm like, man, I thought he was going to be so sick, and then he was completely irrelevant. I think he had like 1 punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't think it was that great. But Marcus, okay, yeah, that's a good one. So my floor for Marcus Jones, and it's tell me what you think of this guy. Now mine's different because Marcus Jones also, they're saying he's a great returner as well.
Yeah,
obviously, as you know. So I got a couple different things for him there. My floor for him is going to be as a corner, Ellis Hobbs. Do you remember Ellis Hobbs?
Yeah, I brought up that comparison later.
Not great, but a lot of good memories, I feel like, because I think he played on some not great defenses for the Patriots, but he was kind of a shining light. He returned kicks here and there too, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
I don't think he wasn't that great at it. That's not what his
ceiling I don't know why they had him returning kicks, but he did.
Nope. Don't know why. But yeah, Ellis Hobbs, he's going to be my floor. Nothing special. Again, it'll be one of those things that people say Belichick did waste a 3rd-round pick, though. All these players were out there. He got this corner, blah, 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 whatever.
He was the starting corner on that 2007 team, though. Like, he was the starter, I believe.
Yeah, he was. Now, for who is the other guy? The one that in that 2017. Wasn't that the guy who broke up the pass in the end zone to send them to the
Sterling Moore?
Sterling Moore. Yep. Yeah. Because I think he started opposite of him, if I remember correctly. So Marcus Jones, though, now when we're talking about his ceiling as a corner, just a starting corner, nothing crazy, just a very good, like a starting corner that people will say, if he's a trade piece, if you need to send him somewhere, you're not going to worry about him. Almost Malcolm Butler-esque.
Yeah.
But not Malcolm Butler. Just someone you're going to start out there, starting corner. His ceiling, though, as a returner, Dante Hall. Do you remember Dante Hall?
The human joystick?
Yes.
Does the Tin Man have a sheet metal cock? Of course I remember Dante Hall.
I think everything that I'm seeing, people are talking about this guy. I wanted to say Devin Hester, but I was like, that's too.
Yeah, that's
bold. Like comparing someone to God. You mentioned Deshaun Jackson is your God. Yep. Devin Hester is punt return, kick return God.
He went to the U. Of course he did, because it's the greatest school ever. So I love him as well.
I'm going to go a step below, because I think Dante Hall was, other than Devin Hester, he's the most electric returner that I've seen.
Yeah.
Return
Josh
kicks.
Cribbs is up there too.
Josh Cribbs is up there. Yep. But yeah, I'm going to go Dante Hall as a returner. Otherwise, he's just going to be a plug and play. You don't have to worry about him starting corner. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Marcus Jones, the first Jones on the list.
I dig it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. He seems like a versatile, shake and bake kind of guy.
Yeah. Where I think that he won't ever be this all Pro Bowl corner, because he'll be worrying a lot about kicking too, or kick returns too. It's one of those things where, like, normally when you have players that are playing different positions on different sides of the ball, it's tough for them to be, all pros at one position. So,
Devin Hester wasn't a spectacular wide receiver. Neither was Dante Hall.
Yeah, but just
Josh Cribbs didn't do anything.
No, not really. Next Jones, Jack Jones. I hate that name. Jack Jones, corner out of Arizona State.
Yeah, it's hard to fucking root for that name.
The floor for me, I think he gets the floor for me. He gets cut before the season. This season.
Wow, that's bold.
He's had, and I don't want to bring up the off the field issues, but it's just one of those things where he seems like the guy you kind of have to rein in a little bit. Yeah. And I just see them. It's a crowded room. I know people say that, you know, the Patriots corners, Patriots defensive backs or whatever, but there's a good amount of people there. But yeah, I think his floor, he gets cut. He's one of the guys because there's 4 4th-round picks. So I think maybe they took a flyer on him.
Yeah.
And then they end up keeping the second 2 and they get rid of him. But his ceiling, Malcolm Butler, not Malcolm Jones. God, I got Jones on the head. Yeah, Malcolm Butler in the sense that he's also
Cyrus Jones.
He's kind of a ball hawk. He'll jump routes a little bit. He might get burned here and there, which Malcolm Butler did a lot his last couple of years here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Jack Jones, he'll be more of your Malcolm Butler type where he'll be really good covering. He'll have, you know, a lot of picks, a lot of deflections, stuff like that. But then he'll also give up some big plays because he'll be trying to guess on the route, kind of Asante Samuel-esque, but nowhere near that caliber of a player. But
yeah.
Malcolm Butler.
That's a good one because Malcolm Butler, like the year after he made the Super Bowl pick, he was great. And then the year after that, he wasn't that great. So it's like with corners, it's like I've always said on the show, it's such a tough position to be consistent year in and year out. So I can totally see that with this guy where he has like one very solid year and then the other one, it's like because I remember everyone saying that if you played Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl, you know, the year after he had that good year against the Eagles, it would have made all the difference. No, I don't think it would. I don't
think so. I think that was just people forget Malcolm Butler, even though he had like the most playing time or the most snaps of anybody on defense, that doesn't mean shit. Like
it's because he was the longest tenured corner by that point.
Exactly. He had to play. It just is what it is. That game, I don't even want to talk about that game. There was nothing the Patriots could have done that game other than
to win.
Maybe Tom Brady dumping the ball off to James White sooner before he got strip sacked. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, because then James White takes it for a touchdown.
Yeah, James White wide open for like 15, 20 yards. But, you know, that's neither here nor there.
Sweet feet. It's going to that. But I get what you mean.
Yeah, he's probably juking everybody. And then, you know, maybe Tom Brady retires after that. Or maybe he doesn't because that's his thing. I retired. I didn't retire. Son of a bitch.
Maybe he retires and comes back.
Maybe. Yeah, hopefully not. Retire and stay away. Next is the second 4th-round pick. Pierre Strong, running back, South Dakota.
Oh, wait. No, I didn't give my Jack
Did you not do Jack Jones?
No, I did not.
Oh my God, there's too many Jones. I got confused. Marcus seriously. Jones, our Lord and Savior, Mac Jones.
My floor is not as bad as that. My floor for him is, and maybe this is my personal bias coming out, my floor for him is like Kyle Arrington, like somebody who's on the team for a couple of years, not great by any means, but he's out there. He's a body. And that's what I have him, like middle of the road, has trouble against better wide receivers, but middle of the road talent. Like he's, you know, out of the 60 corners that you rank, like he's like 37 or something like that, or like 42, like toward the end, but he does the job. He's not terrible. So it's like, that's what I had him. And then my ceiling, I saw a lot of the Patriots media and whatnot saying like his rookie year, he's going to get playing time, like Alfonso Dennard-esque playing time where he plays like 80% of the snaps. And I was like, you know, like overall, it's not a bad comparison. No, but as a career, I took the Ellis Hobbs comparison for him, where he's like, maybe he is a starting or a nickel corner for us for a couple championship runs, and he just does okay. You know, he's not a huge weakness. He's certainly not a strength. He's just out there. He covers. He does his job. So that was my ceiling for him. I don't project any superstarness coming from him. A lot of guys say he's this incredible ball hawk. I'm not seeing that. But again, it's the off season of his rookie year. So I'm taking shots in the dark here from what I see against subpar college talent.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing for him. That kind of seems like it. Everybody's saying he's a ball hawk. So that's why I picked Malcolm Butler. Cause it's like, I don't know if he's a ball hawk. I think he just guesses right a lot. You know, like ball hawks to me are more of like your, like more of your Asante Samuels who they do guess a lot, but they're also just ball.
But they win. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you can be a Trayvon Diggs who guessed a ton this year and had a ton of picks, but he was also infamous for letting up big plays.
Yeah. Well, he let up the big play.
Or Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, to Kendrick Bourne. Yeah, I think it was the play after
he wasn't even
they just
close
scored.
to him.
had no idea what was going on. Then he tried to blame it on the safety. It's like, no,
because he had a pick six.
This was you.
Yeah. He had a pick
This was
six
you.
and brought it back for a touchdown. And then it was like the
Oh,
first
God.
play. He's hyped up. He's like, I just got a pick six, bang, over the top. It's like, dude.
Get out of here.
So that's what I'm thinking. Fuck that guy.
No, dumb. Yeah, no, I don't think so. So okay, I think we're kind of on the same page so far. I feel like the second half.
But Jack
of this,
Jones definitely.
Yeah, I think Jack Jones for us is kind of the same. It's like people say he's this ball hawk, unless he consistently is this, turnover machine, whatever. I think he's going to be like an Ellis Hobbs type of a
just
guy,
somebody who's there.
Which I mean, for a 4th round pick, I mean,
it
is,
to you.
It is what it is. Yeah, I don't hate that. All right, now we go to you, Pierre Strong, running back, South Dakota State.
My floor for him is he sticks around for 2 years or so, but never really finds a role for a team and fizzles out after his tenure with the Patriots. He'll be on a couple practice squads, on a couple preseason games for other teams, but he never really finds a role for himself, and he ends up out of the league in 3-4 years most. He just seems like one of those guys where he's not a priority back. He's no Ramondre Stevenson. Even though he came in and completely blew away expectations, I still don't see any of him and Ramondre. And my ceiling for him is just a steady 8-year pro. Like, if somebody finds a role for him and he gets used in a couple different teams where they're like, we're going to use you as a change of pace, like a big play, speedy running back kind of guy. They said the Patriots haven't had a running back with as fast of a 40-yard time as this guy since Danny Woodhead. And I was like, I was trying to remember, like, he didn't really break away big runs, but we didn't really give him the opportunity to either. He was mostly a pass catcher. So it's like, if you run the ball with this guy, he'll break away a couple of them. If teams take advantage of that, he could carve out like an 8-year career, and people can look at him and be like, hey, remember that guy? Like, he was pretty good.
Yeah, I see that. For me with him, I think the floor very similar to some other guys I'm going to be naming on here. I think he doesn't really play that much his first year. Second year he gets cut. I think it's just it's a crowd, not a crowded room, but
it is a crowded room.
A full room at a position that Belichick does not value as much as other people might. So I hope that's not going to happen. I mean, obviously I don't want that to happen with any of these picks, but I think that's his floor. Doesn't play that much his first year, whether maybe he gets some playing time due to injuries, but barring injuries, I don't think he plays that much. I think he gets cut after this season. His ceiling, Lawrence Maroney.
Ooh, I love that. So like a perennial Hall of Famer.
Kind of no, not the realistic Lawrence Maroney, not your view of Lawrence Maroney. The Lawrence Maroney that had potential, but he never seemed to get to that level of his potential. Because everything that I saw about him was that he's good. He can make cuts. He can do this stuff, but he tends to overthink it. And then he ends up kind of like getting stuck in the backfield, which if you remember Lawrence Maroney kind of danced a little bit. He was more of your east and west runner instead of your north and south. With this guy, they say when he gets north and south, he's great, but it's just kind of getting to that point. Sometimes he gets a little in his own head. So I think that his ceiling is Lawrence Maroney. And
it's a damn good ceiling to me.
Don't mean that in the best way. That's kind of how
I don't know any other way to take it.
Yeah, well, you and Lawrence Maroney are like your weird love for Cam Newton.
Makes perfect sense.
The third, 4th round pick for the Patriots, Bailey Zappi, QB out of Western Kentucky. His floor, I'll go first, I guess.
Take the reins.
His floor is a perennial backup that really never, ever sees the starting. No, you know what? His floor is a backup for almost his entire career until he goes to the Browns and starts for a few games. And he wins. He like beats the Chiefs in like one early season.
Has like
game.
One memorable moment.
And that's his thing. And he makes like some crazy run for a first down. And like he gets up and hypes the crowd up, all that stuff. Yeah. And then like, you know, the next game he throws 4 picks and gets pulled at halftime. I think that's his floor. His ceiling, I almost want to say his ceiling is the same as his floor. His ceiling is maybe he goes to a team and starts for a year and is more of like your change of pace guy, because I guess he's kind of quick. He can run too, I guess. So I don't know. I have zero hopes for him. I think he's a backup here. He finishes his rookie contract here, gets sent somewhere, like I said, the Browns or something, maybe starts a game, beats a big team, gets a contract to play somewhere else, never really materializes. I say his ceiling, a poor man's Matt Castle.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
see,
like
I thought about putting
without
Matt Castle on here too, but exactly. I couldn't do it without the success. Like when I think of Matt Castle, that's about as good of a backup as it gets for me. I love the guy. Love him. I would start him for my franchise tomorrow if needed.
Yeah, but nothing bad to say.
Yeah, but I'm not doing that with Bailey Zappi. That's just not like, he doesn't strike me as that guy.
No.
So for him, my floor was like a gadget guy who sticks around for his like the length of his Patriots contract and then is out of the league. Like no one else really picks him up. No one else gives him a consideration. He might not even get much of a backup role with the Patriots. If we're being completely honest, Brian Hoyer could stay with us throughout his entire Patriots tenure, and this dude would never see the field.
Brian Hoyer's still here.
Hoyer's immortal. Yep, I'm pretty sure he's immortal, so he's not retiring anytime soon. I think in friggin', oh no, we got rid of Jared Stidham, right? Thank God.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay, so that makes it a little better. Yep. Thank Christ. Yeah, he's on the Raiders now. Fuck him. So yeah, no, I don't even think that he has much of a chance to see the field even with us.
Practice so squad quarterback.
Yeah, basically out of the league right quick. Yeah. My ceiling for him though, and this is an oddball name. This is like going way back to 2002, 2003. I think he was on the Patriots for 2 years. Let me pull up his stats. But Damon Heward, do you remember him?
Yep.
So that's my ceiling for him, where he's a backup that no one fucking remembers, apparently, except for me. Damon Heward ended up starting. I got the stats in front of me now. He didn't start shit in his first couple of years. He had 5 starts with Miami in his second year, 1 in his third year with Miami, none with the Patriots. And then he went to Kansas City and he started 8 games.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought he went to Kansas City.
Yeah. And then that's when he started. Unspectacular numbers. He had actually his first year at Kansas City, he had 11 tubs and 1 pick. So he must have got hurt after those 8 games. But then there was his second year where it was 11 tubs and 13 picks and it all falls apart. Like I could see it where like same touchdown production just completely shits the bed in the interception department. I don't know what changed in that year, but that's my ceiling for him, where he's like truly a backup. Like this guy is a backup in every sense of the word. The only reason he started for Kansas City was that team was fucking dog shit. So they just threw him in there, go fuck some shit up for us. Give us that first overall pick. Some team, if they're trying to tank, they throw in Bailey Zappi. They're like, he was on the Patriots. Maybe he can do something for us. No, he can't. Doesn't do much. So my ceiling for him is not very high. If your ceiling, you're being compared to Damon Heward, there's doesn't instill confidence.
And that's your ceiling? Like that's
that's your max potential. Max, if everything goes right for him, you are Damon Heward. Go fuck it up, my man.
If the stars align, you will start 8 games for a dog shit team. How's that sound, sir? But guess what? You will still get paid handsomely. So I think, like I said, I think a backup quarterback's
the best job in the world.
Best job. I was just going to say it. Yep. Best job.
The Alex Moran position.
Hardly ever have to play. When you do, no real expectations. If you do anything,
in fact, they have negative expectations. They're like, this is going to be terrible.
If you even just one good quarter, people, you can have an entire career based upon one good game as a back.
Yeah.
Because you come in, people are like,
Yeah.
but he did have that one good game against the
4
Titans.
touchdown against the Jaguars. And
yeah,
like,
you know, where he brought whatever the Browns back to beat the Titans in overtime. He has the skill. Have you seen? He's got a pretty ball. That's what people will say. He has a pretty spiral. He does. He can throw a pretty spiral, and then that's it. Yep. Then you get, a couple mil a year, and you're good to go. Love that. Yeah. So I think that's it with him. Kevin Harris. Kevin Harris, is this you?
Yes. No, it's you.
It's me. Okay.
I think it is. Did I fuck that up? Probably. Just your turn. You take
either way. Yeah. Either way, I'll go. Kevin Harris. Okay. Kevin Harris for me. His floor. He is more of your lesser man's Danny Woodhead, where he stays on the team for a while. He produces. He can catch. He's a solid pass catcher out of the backfield. I think if he can learn how to block, that's like the big thing for the Patriots. So, but I think he'll be a poor man's Danny Woodhead. He won't be like a fan favorite or anything like that at all. But I don't think he'll. I don't think fans will dislike him. I don't think he'll have any real headlines. I think he'll just be one of those guys that's in there, maybe third down, makes a couple good catches, just kind of does his thing, nothing crazy. And then he doesn't even last his full rookie year because he gets traded in his fourth year with the team or something like that. His ceiling though, and I saw this before. I was thinking about it, kind of reading about it, and then I saw it there and I was like, well, I'm still going to say anyways. Carlos Hyde.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Carlos Hyde.
Now that's a name.
Very, very solid player. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run. He can pass. He can do pretty much everything. He's kind of your full service back, third down, blocking, whatever you need him to do. He's good in fantasy too, which is good.
He'll always have a job.
What I will say, I think Kevin Harris is going to be the better of the two running backs that the Patriots drafted, which is funny because he's in the sixth round. Because he's in the sixth round. Pierre Strong is in the fourth round. I don't know. Maybe I'm still under the Damian Harris spell, and I just see Harris as his last name, so I'm like, fuck yeah! Like I just think that he's going to be on that same trajectory. But no, I think Kevin Harris stays. And my hot take, I think Kevin Harris gets that all important, very rare second running back contract from the Patriots. Ooh. I don't think it's a great one, but I think he gets that second.
But he
contract.
does.
Yes.
Doesn't happen all that often. So that's bold.
Nope, it does not. I think he will eventually be a part of a trio of backs with Ramondre Stevenson, Kevin Harris, and then we don't know who the third guy is because that'll be after James White leaves and Damian Harris leaves.
Is a time I can't even process.
That's going to be a horrible episode. So upset.
It will.
Horrible episode when that happens.
Dude, our viewers are going to think like one of our best friends died. Like it's going to be fucking brutal.
Horrendous episode. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Kevin Harris. I think I do have somewhat high hopes for Kevin. Don't call me Damian Harris.
Okay. So let me preface with this. Have you seen his calves?
His calves? No. I feel like, let me look. Why, you got big calves?
They're gigantic. They're enormous. And
I can see him in plays.
They're trim. They're trim. They are exceptional.
He's got like Michael Turner, like big giant calves there. Okay.
Elephant tusks. Yeah. So
okay.
That's why I'm prefacing with this. I know you really only see me from the nipples up, but when you eventually meet me in person, I also have immaculate calves. Any girl that I've ever dated my favorite feature of theirs, it's always my nipples and my calves, and they usually vast majority lean toward the calves. The calves are fantastic. Bullets bouncing off Superman's skin has nothing on my calves. I could lift a car off a baby with my calves.
So you're not just going to move past that. So you said their favorite things from you are your nipples or your calves.
Yes,
That's
those
what
are their
they.
favorite features. That's what keeps them around. Like
Okay,
once, because when I date a girl, I date for a long time. So once, like,
you should have your
the
nipples in it.
romance settles and, like, we get into the swing of you're a married man. You've been with your girlfriend or wife for as long as I can imagine. It's a really long fucking time.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like 14 years. Yep.
Okay, yep. So exactly. So
Yep.
probably around, like, year 8, like, things are stagnant. You're paddling forward at this point. Like, there's nothing new to really learn about each other. So with my girlfriends there, it's like, what keeps them with me? It's my exceptional calves and my supple, almost Hershey kiss like nipples.
That's what I wanted to ask. I was more actually. I'm fascinated by the nipples and the calves. Is it the length of the nipples, the girth? Is it so it's the
No,
feel,
it's everything. No,
the whole
they're
package?
the perfect size. They're not bumpy. They're not, I don't grow obscene hair.
You
I
got to watch out for the
maintain
bumpy.
them.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
very weird. You get
exactly.
like weird, like almost like spiky bumps on them. It's
Yeah,
it's very
exactly.
not spiky, but kind of
But,
spiky.
like, yeah. It looks freaky. It looks like they're a cactus, but no, mine are perfect. They're
That's the
extremely
word for
supple.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, and they're like proportionate because I'll say so.
yeah,
Since we're in
very
the trust tree
proportionate.
here, no one's listening to this.
No.
I have extraordinarily small ones. Like they're not proportionate to my
Ooh,
body. Like I have like a
yeah.
5-year-old's nipples.
So when you take your shirt
It's
off, people are like,
they don't until I bring attention to it, and then it's like, you
they're
know what?
like,
Yeah,
yeah, and then they can
you do
cover it with
have
a
small
quarter, and
nipples.
they're like, oh my god, like,
You don't
there's
even
no
need a
nipple.
quarter. Straight up, you don't need a
Holy
nickel.
shit!
Probably a nickel.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah.
damn.
Maybe
Yeah, see,
maybe
that's
to start the
terrifying.
season, we'll do a nipple reveal.
That'd be
Week
cool. Yeah,
one. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
depending on
Yeah.
the fan depending on
Okay, cool.
the fan hype around
Um,
our nipples. Yeah, we
yeah,
might have to
very
do a
small,
reveal.
like like Tic Tac, even smaller than a Tic Tac.
Wow,
It's alarming when I think
interesting.
about it. Like if
Yeah,
I were to breastfeed, my child would starve.
yeah,
There
they'd
would
be
be no,
quite
he wouldn't know what to
disappointed.
do.
Yeah, yeah,
He'd
yeah.
be he'd see him be like, what do you want me to do with that? Where do you
It's like if somebody's
what do you want me
drinking
to
out of
do?
a beer, but, like, the little opening isn't good enough for them, so they bite the top off the can. That's what
Yeah.
the baby would have to do.
Yep.
Just fucking rip off the top and hope that
Yep.
the milk just spews out.
And
Yeah,
just hope
no,
it does.
that's
Yeah, because
tough.
I don't know. And then calves, I'm with you with calves. So I got my mom's calves, extraordinary calves.
Beautiful.
You have good
Mama
ones as
Sully
well.
dipping them down.
Good.
Yeah,
Oh
they're
yeah.
genetic. My brother's got some good ones too, but mine are just immaculate. Like, perfect definition. The way the sun hits them, it reflects. It's like
Oh,
they're
with like
made of
see,
glass.
calves are a big thing. See, people don't say
They
it
are.
until you see like good, not like weirdly like muscular weird calves where it's like that because they can be like too much sometimes. But like when you see like a good pair of calves, that you're kind of like okay, like
Yeah. Oh
shit. And
yeah.
then you start getting you look at your own like I gotta I
I
gotta
show up
I
with the
gotta put
zip
in
off
work.
cargo pants and turn those into cargo shorts. Gets them
Ooh.
going every time. It's magic. It's
Ooh, you
because
gotta
it's
you gotta zip them a little bit and then pull them off
yep.
like the NBA pants and
Oh,
be like, oh, check
absolutely.
these out,
I'll, like, unzip
ladies.
the back first and, like, pull it down so they get a little back definition, and then, like, it's a tease a little bit, and then I bring them down. Fucking
Ooh,
pants.
maybe
The
maybe spill a little water on it. Be like, oh my
yeah,
god, I can't believe this happened. You know
just
how like girl with like the wet
dribble a little bit
t-shirts,
out of
it's
my
like,
mouth, like,
oops.
put some water in my mouth, and
Yeah, it's like, oh no, let me just wipe this off. Oh, did you
yeah,
happen to
throw them.
did you happen
If
to
I
see
massage the
these?
calves, like, I'll get calf cramps and have to, like, massage them, and I'll be in severe pain, basically on the brink of death,
Yeah,
and they'll just be like,
like, oh my goodness. Just
yeah.
please do not tell me you have great nipples. Otherwise, I'm in. That's what they say.
Like,
That's what they
you
say,
want to get
right?
married. They
You
basically want
wanna
to marry me on the spot. It's ridiculous. It's a huge burden. But so I preface that with saying this dude has great calves. I have
so
great
Kevin Harris,
calves.
yes.
So I like this guy a lot.
Okay, good.
His floor to me, unfortunately, to no fault of his own, injuries derail his career, and he's
Mhm.
cut next preseason. They just cut their losses with him and say, hey, this isn't worth it. Like, maybe not next preseason because there's not much expectation for him with a loaded, like you said, the
Mhm.
backfield's crowded. It's crowded like a Pitbull concert in Miami crowded.
Yeah,
So, like, wall
yeah.
to wall, shoulder to shoulder. So, like, there's not much expectation right now, but, like, next year, or if they try and give him a chance, I could totally see he had injury problems in college.
Mhm.
They could just derail. And these injuries, like, I'm not going to get into it right now. They're those lingering injuries that make us worry, like Devontae Parker injuries, where, like, all right, how much is this guy going to play? That's what I see as Flores. He's got talent, but injuries. We've seen stars bounce from the league for injuries. What is he, a 6th round pick? He's
Yeah.
they'll cut him with no problem. So that's unfortunately his floor for me. His ceiling, like a short to mid-range back for years to come, like somebody who we bruise through the middle of the line. Like he's got tremendous build. He is significantly bigger, stronger, more jacked, more defined than Pierre Strong, who's like an inch taller than him. He is shredded. So somebody like that, just fall forward, push him through the line.
It's kind of strange that I feel like we have higher hopes for him as opposed to maybe Pierre Strong is more of your like boomer bust guy. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, I think Kevin Harris though. Yeah, I like those. I mean, I didn't know about his calves. If I knew about the calves, I probably would have bought that. I would have bumped him up.
That's something I look at. Like every athlete that if I'm looking at pre-draft scouting, I'm like, all right, we start with the calves and move our way up.
Work your way up to the nipples. I get it. I understand. Have you seen his nipples? Do we know? I don't think we've seen.
No. I've DM'd him on Instagram a couple times asking for nipple pics. He hasn't got back to me yet.
Well, then I feel like our research is incomplete. We can't really make a full assessment on it.
I've been persistent. It's been the last couple of weeks. Eventually, he'll say yes. He's got at least
just wear him down.
Patriots. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's got at least a year. I don't think he gets cut in the preseason. He's got a year. I will chip away at a 17-game season. It's a long season. I will chip away at his spirit. His reserve can't hold up forever.
I'm getting to those nipples, Kevin. I'm getting to those nipples.
That's why eventually I'm going to have to start threatening him. Like I will see these. I will fucking mount a sniper scope miles away outside your window and look through that to find these nipples. I will.
He's going to be walking around like the rest of his New England career, just completely paranoid, just anxious as all hell.
Looking over every shoulder.
Liam, if someone bumps into him,
swimming in pools with duct tape over his nipples.
Little pasties on and shit. Okay, so a lot more nipple talk than I thought we'd have. I figured we'd have a little nipple talk on the episode, but not. That's a lot.
It got out of hand.
Next, Sam Roberts, this is you, 6th round pick, 200th pick of the draft for the Patriots. Defensive tackle, Northwest Missouri State University.
Northwest Missouri State University.
What do you got?
My floor for him is he gets cut in the preseason. This is last week of preseason cuts. He's out of here. And my ceiling for him is a career special teams star. So somebody who's like Matthew Slater type, although at a different position. We talked about his immense field goal and PAT blocking potential. And if that actually comes to fruition, that's unbelievable. That changes games. I think he hangs around.
Okay. Yeah. I think, I mean, kind of a good value to him. I mean, he's a 6th round pick. So, I mean, like, what are you going to really say about him? Kind of what I would say too. What I will say though, I think he will be the Ted Karras, and I know I brought up his name. He will be the Ted Karras of defensive tackles, where he'll be kind of a backup here for the most part. Won't start that much, but he'll go other places, and like people will see his value, and then he might end up being a starter somewhere else. But
yeah. Like he'll start for the Redskins for like 4 years or something.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. Now, I think that's his ceiling. His floor, I think that he gets injured this year. I think he doesn't play next year, then he gets cut. I think it's with these guys, I think they do take flyers on them at the end. Yeah, I mean, there's not much with that.
Didn't spend much to get him, so it's easy to cut him.
No. Now, these last two, Chasen Hines and Andrew Stuber, somewhat breaking news. An hour ago, Mike Reese tweeted, Patriots offensive lineman Chasen Hines and Andrew Stuber have been placed on the active non-football injury list. This means they aren't ready to practice. They can come off at any time. What I think this means, both of these guys, I think your ceiling. Actually, you know what? I'll start with Chasen Hines because maybe we'll do them differently. Chasen Hines, your center from LSU, at best, I don't know how else to put this. He's like your leftover food in the fridge that has gone bad or almost got, like, you don't know if it's gone bad, but you have to Google it. Eat it. Yeah. And it's like, that wasn't horrible, but like I probably shouldn't eat it again because it'll get sick. AKA, let me just do that to where it is on the field. He'll have one good game in his entire career. And then I think he'll be one of the guys who maybe has a 3-year career and then is just out of the league. Out of the league.
Yeah,
like
for both of these guys, I kind of have the same opinion where it's like, these late flyer offensive linemen. So I'll take them both out in one go here. Where it's like my floor is like they don't even make the team. Like they don't have, even though we are deficient in offensive line help, like they'll hang around maybe this year, and then they'll eventually be gone when we actually sign some linemen in free agency and whatnot. My ceiling for them is like, I guess like Isaiah Wynn, like somebody who isn't a starter.
That's a high ceiling.
Yeah, but is it Wynn who I'm thinking of? Like who's normally a backup, but then he starts for us when we need him to. That's not Wynn, is it? Who's
no
Onwenu. That's it. When he's usually a backup, but he started most of this year because we needed him to. That's what I see for these guys, where it's like, hell, like the Bengals went to the Super Bowl with the shittiest offensive line I've ever fucking seen. So it's like these guys could start. They very well could start. Like there are worse offensive linemen that started longer games and went to the Super Bowl. So it's like these guys very well could start. But I see them as like career backups who, if they start, they're pushed into the starting lineup out of necessity, and they do only okay.
I mean, a 6th and 7th round pick, they're already on the, non-football injured reserve. Like that's not a great start.
Not a great start.
And you kind of see from like, I think it was like a year ago, I looked at all the Patriots draft picks because I was writing something about it. And it seems like all the ones who have this type of a start, they're either out of football the next couple of years, but at the very least, they're off the Patriots. So I don't know. I think maybe Andrew Stuber, the offensive tackle from Michigan, I think maybe Dallas picks him up because maybe they think that they can they can make him some great offensive lineman. But I think they're both just leftover food. It's kind of one of those things where like you keep them in the fridge because you're like, oh no, I'm going to eat this the next day. Next day comes, you don't eat it. The next day comes, you're like, oh shit, I forgot I had that leftover stir fry in the fridge. And then, 4 days go by and you're like, there's a little mold on it, but I'll scrape it off.
I really got to eat this shit.
No. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, I got to play them maybe once because I did draft them or do something. But I don't. These guys.
There's obligation.
These guys are nothing. Out of all of the rookies here, who do you have the highest hopes for? Now, it doesn't mean like who do you think is going to necessarily play the bench. Who do you think is going to be the most successful on the Patriots? Big question, because when people get traded, sometimes they have success elsewhere. So, out of everybody we just listed, all of them, who do you think?
So, everything in my body screams pick Cole Strange because it's a safe bet. But I'm a gambling man. I'm in it to win it. I'm not in it to play safe. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. So with this one, like my highest expectations for him, it's Marcus Jones. Like I truly think this dude can end up being a big baller, a big hitter, a punt returner, a Pro Bowler, one of those guys that headlines our secondary. That's my expectation. The more film I watch on this guy, the more I fall in love with him. I need to see him in a Patriots uniform to really solidify this opinion. I'm psyched. I'm going to training camp. I'll have my eyes peeled on this guy. But as of right now,
good pick.
I really think this guy can be a big baller.
So good, but he's got a solid name too. Like I can see people saying that name like on TV, like Marcus Jones, and Marcus Jones. Yeah, like I don't know, something maybe they do some sort of MJ thing in there too with Marcus Jones. I don't know. Something like that. His last name being Jones too. I just think that one of the Joneses is going to pan out. Like you said, Cole Strange would be the easy answer, and I almost did pick him because it's like. I mean, I do think he's going to have a really good Patriots career. My guy, though, Tyquan Thornton. I think this is the draft where the curse of the Patriot drafted receiver ends. And I think this guy has a really, really good Patriots career. Like, really good.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think that like to the point where if it comes down to it, I think that they choose him. They give him a contract over Jacoby Myers or over something like that. Like I think that he is going to be the the shining star in a sea of shit that is wide receivers that Belichick drafted.
Is there anything in particular that you've seen from him that makes you think this?
His speed. So I think that we haven't seen that type of speed in a Patriots offense. So I think maybe, so like how I see his career going to start his Patriots career, he's fast. So he's going to run by people at first. So I think that's going to kind of make up for other things. So while he's running by people, he's going to learn how to actually run routes. He's going to learn, hand positions, arm checking, things like that, kind of beating people off the line. So I think once he gets that down, if he keeps the speed in, which he should for the next few years at least, I just think that he will put it all together. And I think that's what's going to help him out. As long as he does take to, the learning and teaching and all that fun stuff. But I just feel like we haven't seen a receiver with this kind of speed on the Patriots since Brandon Cooks, and he's faster than Brandon Cooks. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things where I want to see it. He's young. Mac Jones is young. Maybe they form some sort of bond. I don't know. Tyquan Thornton is out there working out with all the receivers right now, or he was when they were out there, Devontae Parker, all them. With Mac Jones. So I don't know, just you get the young duo. I just want to see it. I wanted to see speed on this team, and that's really what they did. They drafted like the fastest draft class they've ever drafted, like on average overall. So I think that's it. Law of averages, man. One of these receivers has to hit. One of them.
You'd think.
They have to, right? They have to. Please tell me they have to. Someone has to.
Tell me, please.
I don't know. Well, it has to hit. It has to.
For my bust potential, I have Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
He was my like the clear cut option here for me.
Yeah,
it's like the scrawny receiver who's got tiny wrist syndrome. Gets bumped off his routes, can never play.
He's going to grow into his body.
Yeah. You think his wrists are going to get bigger? You really think those wrists are getting bigger?
You don't catch the ball with your wrists. Catch the ball with your hands.
I've seen a couple of people catch the ball with their
are
wrists.
Attached to your wrists. So I don't know. Yeah, so I guess you can't really do wrist workouts.
My thing with him where it's just like the potential's there, but as a receiver, I don't think he's complete. His route tree is middle of the road, not bad, it's not great. His footwork's fine, but he doesn't have strength. His speed's exceptional, but John Ross ran the fastest 40-yard time, and he sucks.
And he's
absolutely sucks.
Trash.
So it's like, and maybe he was just underutilized because he went to a bunch of shit teams. But with this guy, I think it's another long line of Patriots wide receiver failures here. And I hate to say it because I'd love for him to turn out. I'd love for him to be great. I like that he's already working. I see him as do you remember Taekwon Underwood? Dude with the same name.
With his hair, with the high top. He had the high top, right?
Top. Yeah. So that dude wasn't good. And Bill Belichick cut him like 2 days before the Super Bowl to sign like a backup punter or some bullshit like that. I'd be so pissed. But yeah, like he just, they're almost like they're very similar to me. Where like tall, scrawny, like Taekwon Underwood played on the Buccaneers and did okay. And then he went to the Patriots and didn't do shit because he's not that good of a receiver. So it's like with Thornton here, it's a similar. My point is I've seen this game before. I've seen this movie. I see the plot line 20 minutes into this movie where I know how this is going to end. I know exactly what's going to happen, and I'm not liking it. This is probably a movie I turn off and end up doing some other means of debauchery.
I get that. I think this is your M. Night Shyamalan movie where there's a big twist. And the big twist is that, holy shit, guys, Tyquan Thornton is really good. That's what I think the twist is. I think that he puts on some weight, puts on some muscle. I don't think this is your formula.
Hard time seeing it. Who's your boss?
My boss. I hate to say it. My boss is Cole Strange. I think
that's a good one.
If I had to pick, as much as I want him to do well, as good as I think he's going to do, my bust is Cole Strange. I think and that doesn't even mean that he's going to be a bad player. I think just in terms of what like expectations, I think that's kind of what a bust means. Kind of, you base that upon what the expectations are to an extent. I think everyone thinks that Cole Strange is going to be really good. At the very least, he's going to be a starter. I think he gets beat like halfway through the season. He gets beat out of his job or something. He's a healthy scratch, and then I think he maybe gets traded, gone. Maybe they use some sort of injury designation to get out from underneath.
I'm trying to think if there's like another shit lineman that I could even compare him to, but like no, I know exactly what you mean. Where he just slowly fizzles out. You're like, damn, like. He started like 5 games. What happened?
It's kind of like, remember Cole Strange? He was he ends up being like the Jonas Gray of the. I will find a way to shoehorn him into every single episode. He'll be like the Jonas Gray of the offensive lineman, where like he has this like really good game where you see he shuts down Von Miller, something like that, when they play against the Bills, he you see all the highlights of him going one-on-one with Von Miller, whoever else from the Bills, just shutting them down. And then he just floats away. He just fades off.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Star.
And then, and then just
I feel funny.
Dust. He's out. He's like, I don't want to go. Too bad. You're leaving. And then he's gone. I don't want it to happen. I want everybody to do well, but I think realistically, he is going to be the bust if I had to pick one. I will admit the Tyquan Thornton pick is definitely a little pie in the sky, but I like it. You're a hopeful optimist, unlike me. It has to. And I think Thornton's also playing with Mac Jones, who has no real loyalty to anybody. I mean, he's only played 1 year with everyone, so he's not going to do the Tom Brady where it's like he has his trust tree and he doesn't veer from that. I think that Mac Jones. Why I also picked that is because I can see Mac Jones kind of being under duress and just trucking it up. And Tyquan Thornton, coming down from it, or, him outrunning someone to get it, or something like that. Or, Tyquan Thornton gets beat out for a roster spot by Kristen Wilkerson. So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, I do think that Thornton's going to be the guy. If I had to pick one that isn't Cole Strange.
And I think Thornton's going to be a bust. So
I don't feel good about it. I don't feel great about it. But if I had to pick, he'd be the one. I do still like the 2 corners that we have as well. The more I look at this draft class, kind of overall, before we dip out, I like it for the most part. I mean, as you get down to the 4th, 6th, 7th rounds, things like that. I mean, take it or leave it. What's going to happen with them? But I think like your first 4 picks with Cole Strange, Tyquan Thornton, Marcus, and Jack Jones, I think that's a solid 4 picks.
I think they're not all going to hit. Damn good draft. I think we're going to hit on like 60% of them, which is killer.
Which is great. I mean, the thing that I find hilarious is that going into this, everybody, including us, were like, they got to take linebackers and corners. They took 0 linebackers, which I know a lot of people were saying that's alarming, but I think that should be a vote of confidence as a fan, because you're looking at like Belichick feels comfortable with everybody in the room right now. People coming back.
We have a lot of linebackers on reserve, just no one knows about them because they're all hurt. And we got
Ronnie Perkins
Bentley back. So
Juwan Bentley's back.
Your boy
Dante Hightower still floating out there. Oh, what do you think happens with Hightower? Do you think he comes back?
Fuck,
I don't know what's going on.
I have absolutely no idea. Like, I want to say they re-sign him like right before, but like we're approaching training camp. Granted, he doesn't need to be at training camp. Like, he knows.
Is that what he's doing? Is he doing the veteran thing where he kind of like
just skips out on?
It's kind of like one of those things. Yeah, where like
I feel like he's been half in and out the door of his career anyway. So maybe he's like, yeah, just sign me like preseason week 1. But
I wouldn't hate that.
Know. It doesn't look good. Unfortunately, if I had to pick, like, gun to my head, make a decision, like no one signs it, which I think is fucking crazy.
If that is the case, his injury is either much worse than we thought, or there's something going on.
Yeah,
like he's too good.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's too good not to be. So that's what makes me think that it's kind of one of those wink, wink, nod, nod things with the Patriots, where it's like, listen, week 4 or week 3 of the preseason, we'll bring you back. You get 1 week in there, plug you right back in, you'll be good to go. Because I don't think, even if he comes back here, I don't think he's going to get as much playing time as he did before. Just age, injuries, all that stuff. So I don't know. Maybe next week he's signed by then, and then we have something to talk about then. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Do you have any other final thoughts from the rookie class before we get out of here?
No, we covered the bases here. That was swift. And we talked about nipples. What more do you need?
Talk about nipples and you get what other podcasts do you get? Nipples, calves, and then pros and cons of players. I don't think there's any. So,
but there is a huge demographic of people who are interested in that. So we filled that need.
We filled your hole with our nipples. So, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was Tuck Tule Takes. So thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit. As always, I am Mike Sullivan, MC Sully, as I'm known in the streets. This is Liam McDade over there with his backwards hat on, tank top. Suns are out, as are the guns. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you back next week when the off season officially begins. Stay safe out there and stay frosty.
Swift. Sweet feet.